Hey, welcome back to the Midships channel. It's your Captain Corey here, fresh from the decks of the brand spanking newly refurbished Margaritaville Islander. I've just disembarked from an eye-opening 5-night sailing through Key West, Florida, and in my case, rain-soaked Cozumel, Mexico. And today we're diving headfirst into my no-holds-barred review of the all-new Margaritaville at Sea Islander. Is this cruise worth your hard-earned vacation dollars? How does it compare to Carnival or Royal Caribbean? And was the food any good? Strap in, you're about to find out. Let's roll the intro. And as with every cruise, we start out on Embarkation Day. It's like the first day of school. It sets the tone for your whole trip. My cruise kicked off at Terminal 6 with an 11:30 a.m. check-in time. I rocked up about 10 minutes early, and to my surprise, parking was a breeze. As soon as I found the parking lot, fast forward a bit, and those that got there later than me, well, their parking experience was a little bit more like Black Friday. A lot of scrambling out in that parking lot. Now, once I got past the parking saga, I hit the check-in line, and oh boy, was hit a line. A whopping 2.5 hours of waiting just to get on board this ship, thanks to some kinks that still need ironing out. This was only the second or third sailing from this terminal of this ship, so there was a mix of anticipation and frustration buzzing through the air amidst my fellow cruisers in line, especially among those who splashed out for priority boarding, only to find themselves stuck in the same snail-paced line as everybody else. Yeah, they had to wait in the same line for the same amount of time, at least initially. The process finally picked up past the security checkpoint, where the line split into priority and regular boarding lines. From there, it was smooth sailing on to getting key cards made. And that moment, getting the card in hand, to me, it felt like crossing the finish line of a marathon. I gotta say, this was a long embarkation day process. Now, stepping onto the ship, the chaos of the terminal, well, it melted away for me. The Islander greeted me with tropical vibes, vibrant colors, and a crew that was ready to whisk us away into that vacation-y, tropical Margaritaville cruise spirit. First impressions? This ship was ready to party, and so was I. From the moment you step on board, the Margaritaville spirit just hits you. And I'm not calling the ship the spirit. I'm talking about those Margaritaville vibes, the Jimmy Buffett vibes. Now, the ship's decor, it was spot on as well. Its chic yet laid-back beachy vibes made you really feel like you stepped into a floating Margaritaville resort. And as for the cabins, well, my cabin, 7266, it was a breezy balcony setup that screamed relaxation from the moment my toes hit that carpet. It was modern yet cozy with a beautiful view that promised endless ocean gazes. However, all was not perfect in this little paradise. The room boasted a few quirks from its prior life with Costa Cruises, like a hairdryer from last century that couldn't dry a bald man's head, and a desperate lack of power outlets. Despite these minor hiccups, the room was more than just a cabin. It was a little retreat for me, an oasis away from all my fellow passengers. With ample storage, a super comfy bed, and those little touches that make a space feel a little bit special, it was clear Margaritaville put significant thought and effort into their cabins on board the Islander. Now, heading out to explore more of the ship, it felt like it was designed to never feel crowded on board this ship. That is my key takeaway here. It really just never felt busy. The layout of the ship was very intuitive, being a Carnival Spirit class ship in a prior life, with each zone having its own vibe, but still being part of the cohesive atmosphere of the whole ship itself. Now, the main atrium was sort of the showstopper, the heart of the ship, always bustling with activities and radiating energy that drew you into the cruise experience. And what cruise experience is complete without food? First up on my culinary tour was the infamous cheeseburger in paradise. And it was supposed to be my first stop. That's because a power outage had other plans for me, turning my burger dreams into a quest to find whatever food scraps were available at 3 in the afternoon, which turned out to be some surprisingly tasty fries, as a matter of fact. Crisis averted. Now on to perhaps the most important venue of the whole ship, the main dining room. It's where you're going to find a mix of, in my case, hits and misses across the board. The menu in there was diverse, catering to a wide variety of tastes and dietary needs, with some standout dishes and a few that were, well, just stand-ins. I gotta tell you, the service was very friendly and pretty quick, but occasionally missed the mark. Likely just some teething issues for new crew members. I gotta say, the menu was a little bit sparse, but I found some really good dishes in there. The salmon was always a really, really good option for me. Now, if you want a more laid-back dining option on board, the buffet, it's upstairs. In there, they're serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That buffet offered an array of choices that were generally on point. The freshness of the food sort of varied. Most of it was pretty good, as buffets often do, but finding something satisfying was never really all that hard. Although I gotta tell you, there wasn't a huge variety of food on offer. It was like a two-sided buffet, and on both sides, it was always the same food. And if none of these included dining offerings tickled your fancy, there's always specialty dining that was available, from the steakhouse to my personal favorite, the sushi restaurant. Had some wonderful sushi on board, some of the best sushi I've had at sea or on land. I really recommend you checking that out. I pre-purchased a package and it saved me almost 40% of the pricing on board for some of these specialty dining restaurants. That's something I highly recommend you look into for your cruise on Margaritaville. Now, we all know no cruise would be complete without having a little bit of entertainment to go with all of that time in the sun, time relaxing, and all of that eating. Sometimes you just want to sit down and hear a few jokes or see a few shows. And entertainment aboard the Islander, well, for me, it was a highlight reel in itself. The theater, which Margaritaville inherited from the prior life as a Costa cruise, was a total gem. Mwah! A beautiful venue. And the shows, especially Chonky Tonkin at Sea, wow. They were a fusion of fantastic music and spectacular performances. If you're a country music fan, especially, or even if you're not, Chonky Tonkin is a do not miss show on Margaritaville Islander. Gotta catch that. You'll be tapping your feet just like me. Now, the casino is another place where you can find some things to do on board. And I gotta say, this was a buzzing hub of excitement. Whether you're a slots enthusiast or a card shark or even into craps like me, there was something for everyone. And let's not forget the $5 game specials, the High Seas Heist, that even the most budget-conscious gambler could get behind. So far, things are sounding pretty good, right? But no cruise is without its bumps, and the Islander had a few of her own, from the initial power outage that affected my first meal service at Cheeseburger in Paradise, to a few hiccups in the dining room. It was clear there's some areas that are still being smoothed out by Margaritaville. But what mattered to me was how the crew handled these snags, always with a smile and a swift plan to help make things right, or at least offer some type of alternative to kind of fill that need that I was having at the moment. The crew did a very good job, and I gotta say, Margaritaville, they had some of their higher ups on board that cruise. They were extremely receptive. And from the feedback that I heard from people who had cruised just before me and people that cruised just after me, they are still changing and updating these processes. These cruises are getting better and better every single sailing. So I have to imagine now, a few weeks out, it's even better than what my experience was. So final thoughts here. Is the Margaritaville Islander worth your cruise dollars? How does it compare to Carnival or Royal Caribbean? Well, after spending 5 nights of cruising the Caribbean seas, here's the lowdown. The Margaritaville Islander is a ship with a soul. It promises fun, relaxation, and a bit of adventure, all wrapped up in a laid-back island-style vibe that is just relaxing from the moment you get on board. There's definitely some kinks to iron out. It's not the newest ship. It doesn't have everything on offer that maybe some of the other big players in the game do on their new huge mega ships. But the overall experience, it's a resounding yes from this captain. So what do you think? Are you ready to set sail on Margaritaville Islander? Are you still on the fence on this cruise? Drop your thoughts and questions in the comment section down below. I love hearing from you. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel for more travel tips, cruise news, and reviews. Until next time, keep on cruising, my friend, and we'll see ya on the Midships.
la 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 la.